Hey there, it's Tiffany of Clarity, Confidence, Courage, Women's Empowerment. And as a women's life coach, I help women who have gone through a divorce redefine, reinvent, and thrive and create lives that they absolutely love. Today, I want to talk about what to do when you're not sure if you can trust your intuition and why you may be feeling like you can't trust your intuition. Now, before we jump into this content, make sure you share, like, and subscribe to the channel so other women just like you can find my videos in the algorithm so they can learn how to reinvent, redefine, and create the lives they love. Now, let's jump into this content. Now, the reason that I want to talk about this concept of intuition is because so many times, especially in coaching world, we are told to follow our intuitive guidance towards, the right decisions for ourselves, the right decisions in our lives. When I talk about intuitive guidance, I'm talking about a feeling that you feel where it might be your gut instinct is telling you to do something or telling you that the next decision you make is the right decision. Even though you may not have any facts, you may not have any evidence, you may not have any proof, you just feel it on the inside. There's no tangible 3D evidence to say that what you're about to do is the correct decision. You have a feeling or a nudging or a sense that pushes you towards that decision. That's what I mean when I talk about this idea of intuition. Some people say it's gut instinct. I just had a feeling, I just had a knowing. But what does that really mean? And is your intuition always leading you where you need to actually be? Is it where your authentic, true self, the self that is of your highest good, the self that does things that are of your best interest, would want you to go? Here's what I mean. When you are really, truly following what most people say are the intuition, the nudging, it's about having a sense of connectedness with your internal self, like a deep sense of self awareness to the point where when you feel like something bad is about to happen, your intuition will let you know, stop. There, something bad is going to happen. Don't go that way. Or, that may not be the right direction for you because you're so deeply connected to that self awareness. You know how you feel, you know who you are, you know what you're meant to be doing, that your intuition is strong and will help guide you in the right direction. That's, the concept of what healthy, connected intuition is. Now, I want to talk about the opposite of why your intuition may not be there. Number one, you may not have developed that deep self awareness in order to know whether that nudging or that feeling is really coming from your authentic self, or if that nudging or feeling that you call intuition may be actually a learned coping response from trauma that you went through from your childhood, or if you were in an abusive relationship. So, for example, if you grew up in a household where you may have had an alcoholic parent that was also, verbally abusive, and when they walked in the house, in order to survive, you shrunk down, you stayed quiet, or you went in your room, or you tried not to express your emotions or your feelings or get any of your needs met because you were so busy trying to placate to that abusive parent. You're trying to make sure that they got all the attention, that they were the center of the world, so that nothing bad would happen, so that you wouldn't get hurt or you wouldn't get in trouble. Now, if you grew up in a situation like that, 9 times out of 10, your brain has been programmed to behave in the same way when you come up against a very strong personality who requires a lot of attention, or who may be, a alcoholic or a drug abuser or whatever it is. Or it could just be a really needy person who displayed some of the same character traits as that, abusive parent or that alcoholic parent. So your learned behavior is that when you're around that person, this is what you're supposed to do. It's a coping mechanism. It's not really your intuition. It's just something that you innately learned because you were in a really traumatic situation that tells you when A happens, you do B in order to avoid C scenario. Okay. That is not your intuition. That is not your authentic self. That is that small child who has went through a traumatic situation who is trying to survive. So if you don't have deep self-awareness and you haven't done work with a trained therapist to work through your trauma, more than likely you aren't connected to your intuitive guidance. You're still behaving from the space of survival mode or instinct coping skills that come up because you're being triggered. That's not the same as intuition. Another thing that happens where our intuition gets a little skewed is when we believe that if we are helping someone and they're going to benefit from us helping them and us using our compassion, our empathy towards them, that they're going to be a better person. When in reality, it may not be your intuition talking, it may be coming from that place of being a people pleaser, that place of always feeling like you have to fix people. Again, because that's what you did probably from childhood or probably from your old relationship, is that you learned some behaviors that were intuitive because you had to do them, not because you wanted to do them, not because you developed a deep self-awareness within yourself. It's because you felt like you had to. So when you're in a situation and you're like trying to decide, okay, is this my intuition telling me that I should do this? Or is this a learned behavior or a learned coping skill that I learned when I was a child to get through a very traumatic situation? What do I do? What decision do I make? Should I make? The best thing that I could tell you, and I've had to do this for myself, before you make a decision, ask yourself, is this feeling that I'm feeling of, if I make this decision, is it of my highest good or is it of another person's highest good? So what do I mean by that? Is the decision that I'm making based on what is best for me, or is the decision that I'm making based on what is best for another person outside of me, or a group outside of me, or an organization outside of me? What is the reason of why I'm doing this? What is your why? And I think that when you start picking apart your why, you're going to force yourself to get deeper into the reason why you may feel like you need to do something. Now, I'm not saying if you're trying to help someone that maybe it is your intuition telling you to, but what I'm saying is you need to question the why. Why are you about to make this decision? If you're questioning your intuition and you're not quite sure, ask yourself, well, why am I doing this? Why are you doing it? Are you doing it because you're really happy to do it, because you want to do it, because it's going to make you a better person? Or are you doing it because it's from a place of feeling like you have to do it, like it's your job or your duty, or you're obligated to do this? So start asking yourself that question. That's the first way. The second thing you can do is look at the obvious 3D observable facts. Look at the facts of a situation. So if you're like, my intuition is telling me this, but I'm not quite sure if I should trust my intuition, look at the facts and use your logical mind. Yes, you can still use your logical mind when you are unclear about your intuition and which way you should go. Look at the 3D facts. And if you investigate the facts, A, B, C, D, and you're looking at the facts of what is actually tangibly in front of you, and you sit and you think through, okay, these are the facts. My intuition is telling me the opposite of what the facts show. Again, it goes back to, well, why would my intuition tell me to do the opposite? Is it really because I want to do this? Is it really because it's something that deeply my inner self, that is of my highest good, wants me to follow this? Or is it because of something that I've experienced in my past that made me feel obligated to do this thing? What are the facts telling me? Sometimes when you're unclear about what you should do, it's okay to follow the facts. It's okay to look at the observable 3D reality. Because when you're in a place when you don't trust your intuition, it could be that your intuition may be wrong, or what you perceive as your intuition may be wrong, because it's not your intuition, it's just learned behavior. The third thing that you can do is really think about, what is the goal here? What is the end result here? And is that end result really what I deeply desire? Or was it something that other people told me I should want? Or is it something that's going to benefit someone else? Is it really what I want? Ask yourself, what is the goal? And if your intuition is telling you, that's not going to make you happy, that's going to make you miserable, you might want to start listening, because it might be that the goal of what you set out to do, the reason that it may be against your intuition is because it's not really what you want. And maybe in that circumstance, your intuition is right. This isn't really what you want to do. Why are you doing it? Again, questioning the facts. Now, if it's a goal that you really want to do, but your intuition is telling you that you shouldn't do it, and you're not quite you're on the fence and you're not quite sure, might be able to sit down and think through, okay, what are the steps that's going to get me towards that? And is it that the goal is wrong? Or is it that my intuition is trying to get me to see that certain steps that I might be taking might not be the right fit for me? So there are times where your intuition may be wrong. And it's not because innately your intuition and who you are is wrong, but you may have learned some behavior traits over your lifetime that may not benefit you. Therefore, it may be that your intuition may be leading you down the wrong path. So I hope this was helpful. The reason I wanted to bring this up is because so many times when you have gone through an abusive situation or an abusive past, you may not be sure if you can truly trust your intuition and if your intuition is guiding you in the right direction. So you may have to ask, why? What is the core reason of why you want to make this decision? You may need to look at the observable facts. And then you may need to question the goals. Like, is this really what I deeply desire? Is this really the direction I want to go in? Is that really what I want, or is that what someone else wants? So these are all ways that you can really nail down whether or not your intuition is correct, or whether or not your intuition is actually leading you down the wrong path. And the biggest thing that I can say, deep self-awareness. Work on doing the things that are going to get you closer to knowing who you really are outside of the noisy outside world and outside of maybe what you've gone through childhood or abuse. And the best way to do that, journaling, meditation, therapy. Trust me, it works. So that is it for me. I want to do this video again to talk about how do you know whether or not you should trust your intuition and the possibility that your intuition may actually be wrong. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments what nuggets of wisdom that you got out of this video, even if it was just one thing. And remember to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.